how the teens you've worked with benefited from this free program?
Um, in a lot of different ways. Like, it's something that we often talk about, just amongst ourselves, like coaches and staff, is it's like a case by case basis. But the majority of teens that come in, they're looking to deal with issues relating to anxiety, as well as issues with depression. And so a lot of the time they'll come out of the program learning more about like their warning signs. So how they can know that maybe they're experiencing more anxiety, they're experiencing higher levels of depression, be that physical symptoms, emotions, thoughts, or even just maybe unhealthy coping mechanisms. So it for starters will give them a greater sense of who they are, getting more in touch with themselves, and also learning how to manage and overcome those situations. So most teens will, yeah, honestly come out of it feeling a little bit more empowered and more confident in themselves, which can be, yeah, a huge, huge benefit, not just for their mental health, but even for those around them, because their family and their friends will notice that positive change too.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you take the time and like you're not only working on yourself with your mental health, like you're getting the help that you need. Everyone around you can notice it. I noticed a lot of people noticing it when I was getting the mental health help that I needed. They were noticing it and they were acknowledging it, and it was really really great to see.
I think our program, because it's self-guided and it's really skill-based, it's not talk therapy. It's self-guided tools that people use and can apply to their life. I think that we give people a toolbox. So they have those workbooks. They still have access to the workbooks after the program that they could go back to. So we kind of give people a coping toolbox of things they could use and strategies. So I think the hope is that they will be empowered going forward when things come up to be able to manage their mental health.
Yeah, and having that toolbox is very important. I mean, we do a very similar thing with our presentations at YouthSpeak. We focus on that toolbox and trying to make sure that people know that, maybe not every tool you'll ever collect in your life will be something that will work for you, but having more tools in your toolbox can always be a benefit. Yeah, definitely. Um, so I'm curious as to the what's the common mental health challenge you notice amongst teens, and how can or does bounce back support them through it?
Yeah, if I was to choose one, I'd probably say it's around anxiety and stress or just feelings of overwhelm, especially relating to schoolwork. A lot of
Mm.
teens experience a lot of stress around just the course load that they have to take on at school. And yeah, I don't know, I hear about it a fair amount. We work with a lot of teens that it makes me quite thankful that I don't have to be in the high school program anymore. It sounds like a lot to have to take on. So we usually hear people talking about how they can manage their stress, especially around exam season, which I think we passed, I think end of January. So yeah, we usually have a lot of strategies. Yeah, it's hard. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think was it end of
It,
January?
I can't say for sure because I was in a weird high school situation that was semestered but not. So whether it's semestered or not semestered, like I don't know the full rules for either. Like genuinely, I don't. I'm like, oh, do people have exams now? What's happening? Yeah, my high school was a very interesting experience. I'm personally very glad to not be an anxious high schooler anymore, but I definitely relate to the anxiety in high school, especially like grade 11 and 12. That was a rough time.
There's a lot of pressure, like with grades, and a lot of young people today have a lot on their, like it's extracurriculars and other things, and there's like pressure, pressure, pressure. And so I think that that's a big area that people look for support for.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Especially like when they're coming to that point of like coming of age, that adds a whole other pressure to it as well.
Yeah, like there's so much that goes on during that time, right? Because it's not just the schoolwork, like Dr. Wendy's saying, there's the stuff outside of school. And on top of that, we're asking people from like 15, 16 to start thinking about what do you want to do with the rest of your life. And that's, in a lot of ways, that's a huge decision to have to make. So
Mm.
it's no wonder that there's a lot of anxiety and stress around schoolwork, and there's a lot of expectations oftentimes that we put onto the teens for what they're going to do. But yeah, again, that's where bounce back can come in handy as a benefit to provide some ways that they can navigate that a little bit easier.
Definitely. And I'm glad that, that bounce back does offer their resources to people 15 and over, a lot of resources sometimes can be restricted to certain demographics and can kind of leave youth who are still minors like kind of left floating for themselves. So I personally can appreciate that and you know acknowledge that for it being like really important. um because I feel like a lot of people kind of forget about, you know, the youth coming of age. Like it kind of gets forgotten about. And it doesn't make a lot of sense because we've all been there.
Mhm.
Why do we forget that people are going through that like every day? That's just something I noticed. It's my own little thought on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like an out of sight, out of mind. Like, I've dealt with that. Let me put that behind me. Let me move forward, think about taxes, mortgages, and all that fun stuff that comes when you get older. Yeah, sorry, it's a sensitive subject.
I'm like, way
Taxes.
to go, Christopher. You're getting my anxiety up. So I'm gonna have to work books.
Did you see the anxiety across my face?
I
You
saw
said
it.
taxes. It's like, oh,
Like taxes.
'Tis the
I hope
season.
I hope when we do editing, we do something fun with that. That'd be funny. If you want to hear more stories, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like. To support more youth by youth led projects, visit us at youthspeak.ca where you can donate and spread youth mental health awareness.
YouthSpeak Charity. Speak, inspire, change.